Okay, this is something I want to talk about for some time now, actually. Not really, actually. I just thought about this like yesterday. I was like, all right, I should really talk about this. Even though it may be odd, I still think I should say this. I didn't really have to say anything, I just choose to. Okay, there's something I feel like that has really become a bad addiction, a quite harmful addiction to many, many people, especially because of how easy it is to access, how easy it is to get, and how horrifically damaging and addictive something is. And that, my friend, is sexual content, right? Like, Rule 34 is just sexual vile content. This is going to sound like a very bad opinion, but I think sexual content should either be just made downright illegal or heavily restricted. Why, you may be wondering? It's because it's far too accessible. I think I think that like I think that the use of sexual content, the good value compared to the bad is very different. It's like the only good thing I think the only good thing sexual content could ever do is like teach people how to have safe sex, and it can just that's the only thing it can do. All it can do, but it can do so much more worse, so much more bad than good, in my opinion, from what I've seen, right? Because I see people saying stuff like, "Oh, it's good because it helps gauge your stress levels," but it's like you can find other ways to do this. There are things that you can get from sex, from like jerking off. It's like you can get so much more. You can find other ways to feel joy in your life than just fueling a horrible addiction, right? I don't think anybody really needs freaking furry hentai, lolly hentai, futa hentai. You don't need none of that, right? I don't think you need any of that to be happy, let alone just find value in life. You can do so much more. You can strive for so much more. But that kind of addiction, that kind of addiction to sexual content, I think it's inherently damaging, especially if you're under 25, because that's like your brain is still developing. Your brain fully develops at 25, right? You can fact check me if you like. Like I actually researched. Well, actually, I was told this in school. They're like your brain fully develops at 25, which is why I think if sexual content isn't downright made illegal, it should be you should have to have like for you to access a 18 rated site, you would have to sign in, and you have to. I think that you should. I think that you should only be allowed to sign in if you're 25 or older, right? Because I feel like your brain hasn't fully developed. Yeah, I feel like your brain hasn't fully developed until you're 25, and because of that, you're way more susceptible to bad things like addictions, like like porn addictions. And I feel like that's a bad problem. And I feel like that's an unfortunate addiction that many people deal with, because realistically, it's not really seen as that big of a problem, right? Some people don't find it to be the end of the world, and I'm not gonna say that it is the end of the world, but I'm gonna say that it's like you don't really need it. It's not bad, okay? Compared to drugs or alcohol, having a porn addiction isn't really that bad. But I still wouldn't support it. I still really think it's a bad thing. All in all, I think it's all around just really bad and really disgusting and really unhealthy, right? Which is why it's like I think it should be just heavily regulated. I think sexual content should, if sexual content, right, porn sites aren't like regulated heavily, like not regulated, but just restricted heavily, like making it so that if anyone wants to enter it, they have to sign in and actually be 25. I think if that's not being done, then I think it should just be downright handled by the state. I think the government should be the one to access like or to create all porn, because it's like most porn is not. I think the only thing, like I said, the only good thing I think porn can do is teach people how to have safe sex, and that's really about it. The rest of it's just like fucking garbage. You don't need the rest of that shit. Fucking. I mean, I don't think I need to give you any random tags, right? I don't think you need anything else, which is why I feel like maybe the government should have a handle on that. It's either the government should handle it, but like show like safe ways to have sex, or it should be heavily restricted. And this is another bad opinion. I think I think it should be illegal to put porn ads or ads to 18 rated sites on sites that are not 18 rated. Like I don't think there should be like fucking hentai ads on YouTube or Twitch or TikTok, because kids use that shit, right? And that's like I think that like if you want to put if you want to use right if you want to put hentai ads on another site, that site should be turned 18 rated immediately, and they should put strict regulations. They should like ban kids from being on that site. That's my opinion. It's a bad opinion. I think I okay. Let me rephrase that again. It's like if a company wants to take ads from hentai, and it's a kid-friendly site. For example, if YouTube was adding in ads into its own site that are 18 rated sites, YouTube should immediately be turned into another 18 rated site. It should classify as another 18 rated site, and it should immediately like ban kids, or heavily restrict children, or have children like sign up to be like certain age, so that they can access the site. And yes, would that hurt YouTube a fuck ton? Yes, it should. It would, and I think it should, because it's like I don't think kids should be seeing this shit. It is too easy. It is too easy for a child to see porn. I think it should be heavily fucking restricted, and I think companies that do that shit, like for example YouTube, that allow 18 rated sites to be flaunted, like fucking porn sites to be on their app. I don't know if YouTube actually does that, but I think sites that allow kids to see like sites that allow kids onto their site that also flaunt to like have ads that are inherently to 18 rated sites, like gambling or sex sites or porn sites. I think I think those companies should be either just fucking banned entirely or just heavily fined for that shit. That's gonna sound like an attack, because I just don't think sexual. I think a porn addiction is quite unfortunate. And thankfully, I think that's all for my unhinged rambling. I hope you have a good day. I hope you have a blessed day. I hope you wake up in the morning, love yourself. I hope you all eat well. I hope you stay healthy, work out. Just appreciate what you have in life. And that will be all. Goodbye.